are a few easily resolvable things that most people get wrong when painting the mouth. The first is making the lips too saturated. So I'm blocking the lips in with almost pure red paint, and you can see how it just looks almost a little bit amateurish. So let's go ahead and tone it down a bit. I'm going to use some ultramarine blue, burnt sienna, naphthol red, and titanium white, and just mix that together for the upper lip, making a kind of purpley browny reddy kind of color. It's quite a bit more complex and beautiful. And then for the lower lip, I'll use some cadmium orange, titanium white, naphthol red, and just a teeny bit of ultramarine blue, making a kind of fleshier, slightly lighter color. So a lot of the time the upper lip is darker than the lower lip when the light's coming down on the face, and so that just starts to capture the form and the lighting. And so now let's go ahead and block in some basic color for the flesh just to give this whole painting a little bit more context. And you can start to see now what the next most common mistake is, which is making the teeth too white. Even just by looking at the color of the canvas, a lot of people make the teeth like glaringly white, and it just looks kind of freaky, a little bit like Barbie doll or something. So instead the teeth are quite a bit darker. I'm going to use some of what I call my base shadow color mixture and a little bit of the base flesh color and a bit of titanium white. And yeah, you can just see how it looks quite a bit better as it gets to be a little bit darker. It looks a little actually weird at first, but then carve out the shape and it just sets into the mouth, making it a little bit darker as it gets towards the edges of the teeth, because the teeth, you know, are on a rounded surface and it just sets back into space a little bit better. And then the one that actually helped skyrocket my work the most is when I learned to stop making the edges of the lips sharp. So you'll definitely see a lot of people make the edges of the lips like super sharp, like a paper cutout, and that is the one main thing that'll drastically reduce the impressiveness of your mouth paintings. So just making the edges soft, going along all of the outer edges of the lips with a little wiggle stroke is just going to give a lot of form, and it's going to absolutely skyrocket your work to the next level. And then now the mouth almost looks too blurry, so we need to have some definition to the mouth, and I'll bring that in by using some alizarin permanent and some black, and just kind of carve out the shapes of the teeth with a nice strong, like a sharper note, really nice and dark. And then the final thing is that people often overemphasize the creases of the lips, but it looks better to actually emphasize the form of the lips by putting little highlights on the two circular fat pads that make up the lower lip. And I go over all of this in a lot of detail in my mouth painting workshop, which I'm running via Zoom on April 22nd.